Good morning, everybody. We made it. We've got a show coming your way today on GoJo and Golic, and thank the Lord, football is back. The guys are out in Kansas City to celebrate Thursday Night Football. It's going to be amazing. And reporting for duty, a wide receiver was spotted at practice wearing pads. Thank God, Bengals fans can breathe a sigh of relief. And somebody very special joined Instagram, or should I say InstaFace. All that and more coming up on GoJo and Golic.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to GoJo and Golic. Mike Golic Jr., Mike Golic Sr., and Stugotz.
Good morning, boys.
Oh, my God.
I mean, I am sandwiched in between two Golics. This is my dream.
This is heaven for you. This is heaven for us.
Sandwich.
Oh, my God. Jesse obviously holding it down for us in the DraftKings studio in Boston. We got a great show today. We are live outside of Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City.
Yep.
Ahead of the Chiefs and Ravens opening night NFL game here. Tons of guests coming up in the show today. Obviously, Stugotz is going to be here with us all 2 hours. I don't know how we got him to agree to this or why he would. He's on 4 hours of sleep right now. We have not caffeinated you yet.
No, I wish I was on 4 hours of sleep. It's like 2.5, maybe 3 hours.
The number changes. You've been here a half hour, and the number has changed 3 times in that half hour of the amount of sleep you got.
You're right, and it will change again as we move forward here. But, I was telling GoJo, he said, you're going to be able to do this, turn it around, get here in the morning to do this, and then we have a whole day of events going on here. And I said, listen, I don't know what it feels like, but I imagine waking up Arrowhead Stadium, the start of the NFL season, is the equivalent of waking up on like Christmas morning for him, right?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Stugotz, you saw it coming up this morning. We're walking out here, our little box studio right here, which is awesome. It's air conditioned.
Yeah, phenomenal.
Right out in front of the stadium.
Oh,
but walking up this morning and seeing the silhouette of Arrowhead.
Oh, amazing.
Knowing that tonight there's going to be football played in there.
Pulling in and seeing people already parked outside the gate. They're not letting them in yet. They are ready to tailgate. The game says at 7:20 local time here, and they're parked outside the gate ready to tailgate. I've never gotten in, usually playing, but even since playing, never really gotten into tailgating.
Right.
Because I don't know how you make it to the game.
Well, you're saying that at this age, though. I mean,
that is true. I think the people that we saw last year grilling out on the highway as they're sitting there, probably not 61 nursing as many injuries as you are.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, though, that blew me away, Mike. Like, I pulled up here, and I know the fans are passionate here, and fans are passionate in most NFL cities, but to see people in line, they can't get through the gates. In line, it's like the tailgate before the tailgate. They're pre-tailgating.
It's unreal. I don't get it.
I was blown away, and I'm not talking like 5 cars, hundreds of cars. Crazy.
It's a full group. There's got to be a midday nap built in somewhere.
I was just thinking the same thing.
For us?
No. Oh, well, that's a given for us. I mean, are you kidding me?
At this point.
I am napping the brakes of the show. I mean, yes, you got to wonder if people just lay in their car for a little bit, right?
Yes.
We're going to go. We'll send somebody out there to interview the people sleeping in their car in about an hour.
But Mike, you and I have discussed this, all right? The keys to day drinking. Once you start, you cannot stop.
No.
Like, you go to sleep. You take that 30-minute nap in the back of your car, you are done for the day.
Stugotz, I made that mistake in Vegas like 2 months ago. We've been out day drinking all day, went back, had dinner coming up. I went back to the room, and I got horizontal for a second. I set an alarm on my phone for a half hour. It was 6 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I woke up at 1 a.m.
Oh, boy.
I had missed 9 calls, 3 FaceTimes. People have been knocking on my door. I was gone to the world.
Sleep of your life, though. I mean,
college should have been all darties, so you could have got a good night's sleep, right?
Yeah.
Should have been all darties.
This is the platform that we will run on. College is all darty.
So when I visit Emma at Syracuse, one of my daughters, Rachel's at Northwestern playing lacrosse, but when I go visit her for Parents Weekend, and she's like, Dad, we got a darty. It starts at noon. And I'm like, I have the biggest smile on my face. I go, that means we'll be home by like 4,
yes.
right?
I mean, because we all remember college. People don't go out till 11 at night. It's like, what the hell are we doing?
Right, exactly.
It's a mistake is what we're doing. So those people are going to fight God's toughest battle out in those parking lots here. Inside the stadium, we'll actually get a game tonight, and I feel like we've danced around it knowing that we were going to have today to talk about it so much. Right. And Stugotz, I know you have to go to the penalty box if you talk about the Chiefs on your show. So
yeah, I'm so happy to be here because if I talk Kansas City Chiefs on my show, Dan sends me to the penalty box for 2 minutes. Sometimes it's a 5-minute maybe.
We will not send you to the penalty box.
We don't have a penalty box.
No.
A, we couldn't afford to bring that down on this one, but B, we also have to talk about the Chiefs today. So let's start there, Stugotz. Matchup of the AFC Championship from last year where we saw these teams, Mahomes and the Chiefs get it done 17-10. Are you one of the people buying in on like the three-peat as an actual possibility with this Chiefs team?
I didn't buy in on the two-peat. I didn't buy in on the and that's why I'm not allowed to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs anymore. I blasted Andy Reid when he got rid of Alex Smith in favor of Patrick Mahomes.
Over there.
Yeah, I'm not certain I'm qualified to answer this question. Listen, winning 3 straight. When you talk about the quarterback stuff with Mahomes and Brady, the one thing that Brady never did was win 3 straight. Mahomes has a chance to do that. And I'm not saying if he did it, Mahomes would be right up there with Brady. But, man, we could start having that discussion, and I'm certain people already are, if Mahomes was able to win 3 straight. I think the more interesting part of this is Lamar Jackson has to get to a Super Bowl at some point.
Yeah.
He just has to, Mike.
Well, we said in the last 6 years there have been 3 MVPs. Right, it's been Mahomes, it's been Lamar, and it's been Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. What does one not have in common with the other? It's been to a Super Bowl, and he's 1-4 is Lamar against Kansas City, so the record isn't very good. But quickly going back, Mike, to what you asked about them three-peating, I truly believe Patrick Mahomes took last year personally that their offense didn't lead the team.
Michael Jordan meme.
I mean, without question.
Oh, wow.
And that's what the greats do. They find that chip on their shoulder, and his chip was, this shouldn't be a defensive-led team.
Right.
This should be an offensive-led team, and the offense didn't lead. And we're going to be the best offense, and I firmly believe, I think they have a great chance to three-peat.
So you think he's motivated by the fact that some people have said the defense led them to that championship.
I think
and he's like, no, I'm the greatest quarterback ever.
I don't think it's people saying it. I think he believes it. I think he absolutely believes that he wasn't the magic man, heading this great offense, the best offense in the league. They were truly led by their defense. And I do think he takes that personally. Not to say that you're going to try harder because of that, but you take that personally and you dig in even more. You got more speed with Xavier Worthy. Your 4/5 of your start. The line is back. Your running back is back, though the backup Edwards-Helaire will be out for 4 weeks. You have your tight end. You got your whole starting D-line is back. I mean, I think they're poised, barring major injury, to be right where they were last year.
Gojo, what do you think? Like, a three-peat, man. That's crazy. Plus, you have, Aaron Rodgers hopefully going to be healthy, so the Jets are going to be good. Joe Burrow is back with Cincinnati.
Yeah.
You have the Baltimore Ravens. You have some teams that can push this Kansas City Chiefs team. Do you think they're going to win 3 straight?
I right now, until further notice, I am picking them to keep winning. Just because, Stugotz, you mentioned not believing in the two-peat last year. To me, that was actually a lot more defensible stance than going against this team this year. Because remember the vibes last year. We had no idea who their receivers were going to be, and that felt like through the majority of the season. Every time we thought we were going to get traction outside of Rashee Rice, none of the rest of those guys. Kadarius Toney's not even on the team anymore.
Right.
A lot of those guys, MBS not even on the team anymore, I don't even think made the team in Buffalo. So that roster and where it was offensively had so many questions. This one feels like they've at least got answers on paper. We'll wait and see in person. But Mahomes, if he was able to work out what they had to get through on that offense last year, I feel pretty confident what they're bringing back now.
And I mean, listen, a couple of milestones. He needs 84 yards passing, which he'll get tonight.
Yeah,
first quarter
to be the franchise all-time leader in passing Len Dawson.
He's 28 years old.
I mean, it's
28 years old.
84 yards. He and Travis need one touchdown to pass Drew Brees and Jimmy Graham for third all-time.
That's ridiculous.
On quarterback to tight end touchdown. Now Travis is coming to the end, so we'll see how many more they get.
He was the second leader in yards by tight end last year, though. I will say that. He was set.
He was.
He just barely missed going for over 1,000 yards for the 8th straight season.
It's amazing. The other amazing thing about this Chiefs team, and really about Patrick Mahomes, they had Tyreek Hill. They won a Super Bowl with him. They got rid of him. They sent them down to where I live, Miami, the Dolphins. And he's been great with the Dolphins.
Yeah.
But the fact that they've won 2 Super Bowls without Tyreek Hill is insane, because a lot of people feel like he might be the best player in football. I mean, a very legitimate MVP case for a Miami team that when we do, and we've got division winners coming up. I pick all of those do
today.
We really?
Division winners.
Do I get to
Super
pick?
Bowl.
Oh, yes, you do.
Thanks, Stugotz.
I love this.
You're going to be happy with one of my picks.
AFC West picks, by the way. That's a little tease for later. Speaking of later, we also got TREY WINGO that's going to be stopping by and joining us.
It's going to be 4 wide here. This is going to be
4 wide with the ESPN expats all up here. And then player-wise, Josh Allen and Derrick Henry, we got a chance to catch up with them in the lead up to this. So excited to talk about them. One of them will obviously impact the game tonight. And Stugotz, you talked about Lamar Jackson. I think I made this comparison during basketball season. We had kind of gotten to the territory with him and before last year, Nikola Jokic, where we have no doubt they're among the best in the league, if not the best at what they do, multiple-time MVP winners. Right. But at some point, like Dad said, I mean, Stugotz, you were famous for doing it in the postseason as a mantra, but it really kind of is all that's left for the Ravens to accomplish. They were one of the best regular season teams we had seen in recent memory last year, both defensively and that offense making the jump under Todd Monken. And so he's got a new offensive line in front of him, which is my biggest question mark. If you're looking for going into tonight, the thing I am most excited to watch in this game, it is 3 new pieces on that offensive line going up against the defense that returns their whole D-line led by Chris Jones, and in general, that was a nightmare top to bottom last year.
Yeah, listen, I do it a lot about, winning a ring, have to win a championship. In this particular case, though, I feel like this particular guy, he's won a couple of MVPs, and some people think he's the best player in the NFL. And if you're one of those guys, if you're Patrick Mahomes, if you're Aaron Rodgers, you have to go win at least one Super Bowl, Mike.
You got to pay it off.
You have to, right?
Yeah, you got to pay it off.
And the argument against him was he never had the skill position talent around him. Now he does.
Right. Now he does. And listen, they were in the AFC title game last year, playing this exact same team, lost 17-10. There were maybe more questions about the coaching And the fact that they only ran the ball 16 times in that game. Kansas City had the ball for over 37 minutes in that game last year, winning. And Baltimore did a first in the history of the NFL. They were first in scoring, giving up 16.5 points a game, first in sacks with 60, and tied for first in takeaways. Nobody had ever been number one in those three categories in the history of the NFL. And the defense, they gave up 16.5 points a game. Kansas City scored 17. So they did their job.
Yeah,
they did their job. That offense and now credit Kansas City's defense for leading that team. But that offense was surprising to me when they only ran the ball 16 times. That to me was a little questionable.
Yeah, no, obviously that was near the top of everybody's list. But now the offense this year, we've got those questions there. Stugotz, this Baltimore Ravens defense looked like one of the early 2000s ones here. They lost a lot of people. They lost guys at every level. Jadeveon Clowney, Patrick Queen, Geno Stone in the secondary. They lost their coordinator, Mike McDonald. They lost like 2 position coaches off that defense. So how fair is it to expect them to walk back in and just play up to that standard again?
I don't think it's terribly fair, but you think about, like, the great quarterbacks, right? Like Tom Brady lost a lot of guys on defense along the way. He lost a lot of guys on offense along the way. Patrick Mahomes we just talked about losing Tyreek Hill, and they've lost some guys. Like, you lose some guys along the way. Yep. So, and hopefully the greatness at that position can overcome some of the people that you've lost, because eventually you have to pay those guys so much money that it's hard to retain all the other players on your team. But I think that's an unreasonable expectation for Baltimore's defense.
Hell yeah.
I mean, with that many new players, to be good and be good early on and be good against this team at this stadium opening night NFL season.
You just wonder, too, how Patrick Mahomes is going to take some shots down the field, right?
That's certainly what it seems like.
Yeah.
Mike, you got me thinking, like, I think you're right about this, where, like, last year he didn't feel like he was validated. And he's like he should come out with no running backs.
Yes.
Right. We're never running the ball, throwing the ball on every – and I'm telling you we're going to throw the ball on every play, and you're still not going to stop me.
All right, well, we've mentioned Mahomes and Lamar Jackson a bunch. Jesse, why don't we send it back to you and try and redirect this thing here and talk about some players for tonight?
Yeah, so basically I just want to know what you guys think. Which players do you think are going to impact the outcome of this game the most? Anybody really stand out to you that you think is going to be the one to do it out here?
Well, I look at Chris Jones. Again, you got new parts on that Baltimore offensive line, and you have the same starting defensive line for Kansas City. So, and again, that was led by their defense last year. So I look at Chris Jones and that D-line just trying to wreak havoc. Now, they have to also stop Derrick Henry. But it's weird to say you talk about Derrick Henry and the hard runner that he is. For a D lineman, it's not bad because he's not at full speed by the time he hits it's not, you see him in the open field and a DB has to make a business decision.
Have you ever stood next to Derrick Henry?
No. Yes, actually at Super Bowl I did.
It's so scary.
Yeah,
but when you get to the first level, he's not at first speed. The D linemen are bigger than he is, so there's not the, oh my God, he's going to run through me.
You catch him at the second or third level.
You get him. That's exactly right. So I think Chris Jones leading that D line to me is a huge factor tonight.
Listen, I'm a monster Taylor Swift fan. Everyone knows it. I'm not just saying Travis Kelce because of her, but I will say that was the matchup that sort of changed everything the last time these two teams played was Travis Kelce against Kyle Hamilton in that Baltimore secondary. I went back and looked this up yesterday on Next Gen Stats. Kyle Hamilton did not allow a touchdown to a tight end in coverage last season until they played the Chiefs. In the league last year, Kyle Hamilton allowed the lowest target EPA as the closest defender to a tight end the entire season. So on paper, he was the best safety at defending tight ends in football. And Travis Kelce caught all 11 of his targets for 116 yards, and the only touchdown Kyle gave up last year. So big-time revenge game for Kyle Hamilton. And listen, for Travis Kelce, we understand, like, he's had a busy offseason in a lot of ways, and he's a guy that's getting up there. I do always continue to wonder how much at the beginning of the season are they inclined to use him, knowing Stugotz, they really only need him to show up in the postseason.
Well, I don't know. How much should they use him, Mike? Like, honestly, but the important thing for this team, it's such a great point, is let's be healthy, not now. Let's be healthy when we roll into January.
I think game dictates.
Right.
Yeah. You know, how much he's used. Like AFC Championship game, targeted 11 times, 11 receptions. Oh, by the way, he needs 10 receptions, not tonight, but 10 receptions to pass Tony Gonzalez for the franchise
What is
record.
the team doing?
I mean,
don't feel
it's
real
unbelievable where he and Mahomes are. But I think it's game related on how much you use Travis Kelce. You know, just like we talked about with Baltimore. Nobody gives a damn about their regular season.
Right.
For Baltimore, it's all the postseason and Lamar Jackson and getting to the Super Bowl.
Is it fair to say, I know it's game one of the NFL season, but I'm excited. Isn't this game more important for Baltimore than it is for Kansas City?
100%.
Like Kansas City doesn't care if they win this game.
They do not need this game. They lost the opener last year and won the Super Bowl.
They're in a Baltimore's in a tougher division.
Right.
Well, that's the other part.
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
So, yeah, especially even more tougher now that Burrow's back.
Right.
I think Pittsburgh takes a step back and doesn't make the playoffs. That Cincinnati does.
You know what? You say that? I don't know how. Like, we can get into this when we do the division previews later. I don't know how Pittsburgh takes a step back. I truly don't.
Well, your dad's not buying in on Russell Wilson or Justin Fields.
More than Kenny Pickett and Matt Canada?
No, not just the quarterback.
Mason Rudolph.
Listen, I think it's a team that's kind of been hanging around the 500 level, and I think they're after 18 years they might be due.
Hey, to me, speaking of due, I think Stugotz is right. I think the Ravens do need this more than the Chiefs at this point, just to show, hey, all this attrition, because Kansas City's made their way through attrition before. They've lost, like you mentioned, Tyreek Hill, plenty of important players in this offseason. Willie Gay, L'Jarius Sneed, plenty of guys that were important to that defense especially are now gone by the wayside, and they've shown that they can adjust. Baltimore's done that to an extent in the past, but now at the level they were at last year, where you're right in that championship window, they've got to show people, hey, we can come out right away and be able to weather all of this wholesale loss.
All right, guys, so we've settled it. It's a must-win game for the Ravens today.
I was waiting for you to say
Week
the words.
one. Week one, it's a must win. Their season depends on it. As I just said, their regular season doesn't matter.
I love you so much. I knew we could get there. We just inched towards it. I was amazed.
I'm starting to wake up a little bit.
You feel free talking about the Chiefs.
So I've never felt free.
You feel free.
When
Wow.
Stugotz gets the coffee in him, we are going to burn this place down. The Chiefs, by the way, we'll do the picks at the end of the show when we get Trey Wingo out here with us, who's hosting a new pregame power-up that you can check out.
Yep.
Mondays and Thursdays on the DraftKings Network. Kansas City, only the 3-point home favorite in this game on DraftKings Sportsbook right now. So pretty wild to see it at that. Just basically the courtesy 3 points.
Wow.
More or less a pick 'em in this game. So
it is.
Lots to sink your teeth into. Things that make you go, a little bit. But coming up next, we dipped a toe in the waters. Let's dive all the way in right now.
Oh, boy.
We got division winners that we're going to pick coming up with Stugotz in the show next on GoJo Golic.
everybody. Welcome back to GoJo and Golic. Jesse Cofield here in the studio. The guys out in Kansas City. Stugotz is with them. How incredible. So, guys, we want to go through here and get your predictions. We love to do predictions. We're so close to football. Once football starts, we can maybe stop doing this. But, guys, we hope these don't burn up in your face. So, GoJo, let's start off in the NFC, break down how the divisions are going to shake out, what we think is going on. Some new faces down here in the NFC South. Falcons are the favorites at -130 behind Captain Kirk, new QB1. Do you agree, guys, that this is their division to lose here?
Sorry, Jesse, I got hung up when you said burning up in our faces because we just had to explain to Stugotz that he can't rip a heater inside our small air-conditioned box.
Oh, no, he can.
Unloading porta potties behind us. Let me say, Jesse, you would be in hell, Jesse, out here with this particular cast. During the break, we're hammer timing cheese and crackers over off from the side of the
delicious though.
It was great. A little bit of soft cheddar.
Jesse, are you giving me permission here? Because you're not here, but are you giving me permission to smoke a heater right here?
Yeah,
in this little...
do it live, baby. Let's go. You know what? I ask forgiveness. Ask forgiveness. Do not ask permission, Stugotz. Words to live by.
Right. Okay.
That's basically tattooed.
It's
on
words I have lived by.
Yeah.
That is
I love it.
Stugotz family motto there. So it is a beautiful day in Arrowhead for heaters and porta potties.
I think she asked us about the Falcons.
Listen, I'm starting out. There's usually 4 teams that made the playoffs that don't, 4 or 5 and ones that don't that do. I'm starting off right away. The one that didn't make the playoff making it. I'm having Atlanta win this division.
The NFC South is an easy place to
is.
come by
It
that
is.
because Tampa Bay wins that division last year, and they deserve our respect. Baker Mayfield, great season, resurgent year. We had left them for dead. We thought they'd be picking for the #1 overall pick in the draft last year. That being said, I will walk right back into, unfortunately, disrespecting them and also picking a Falcons team that is an organization that is historically inept in Jetsian levels, that's bringing over a quarterback in Kirk Cousins that's historically playoff win-averse and is trying to microwave that all together with a new head coach trying to do this for the second time in Raheem Morris. So feels like a really safe bet, but I am also going to go all the way back to the joy that I felt thinking about this offense with Kirk Cousins exerted into it this offseason when he got traded and pick him right against you.
There are some people who feel like Kirk Cousins can win the MVP.
Crazy.
Are you one of those, Mike?
Well, I mean, look at the weapons.
I'll tell you this, no.
No, I'm not.
Comeback player of the year, yes.
Comeback player of the year, yes. But look at the weapons he has to throw to. He has got some weapons. Yeah. There's no doubt about that.
Are you still trying to snort Kyle Pitts at this point in his career, Stugotz?
Yes,
You're still trying to buy into that one?
Yes.
You want a little baggie of Kyle Pitts?
I think Atlanta wins the division. I think they're the only team from the division to make the playoffs.
Yeah, it's not going to be the Saints. Not going to be Carolina.
No, not
going to be the Bucks or the Falcons. And I'll go Bucks.
You'll go Bucks? All right.
Just
You're going Bucks.
Falcons.
Okay. All right. There
Baker
you go.
Mayfield respecter out here in Stugotz. What about the NFC North, Stugotz? This is an interesting one after what Green Bay did last year. Dan Campbell and the Lions, we thought finally got to this place where, okay, the Vikings are down a little bit now. Green Bay doesn't have Aaron Rodgers anymore. And they're right back with another one of those bad men in Jordan Love. So who are you going to pick to win this division?
This is so interesting. The team I'm going to eliminate is the Vikings. I don't think they're going to win that division.
You've seen too much Sam Darnold?
I've seen enough of Sam Darnold. My biggest fear, my biggest nightmare this year, and Mike Golic Sr. knows this. Both of you know this because you've talked to me enough. My biggest fear is Sam Darnold becoming like one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL with Minnesota, and Zach Wilson doing it in Denver. Those are my biggest fears, although I think that's less likely.
Yeah, you don't have a fear there. Don't have a fear there.
If both of those happen at once, it's truly like God hates you guys. Like, I'm not much of a believer, but at that point I would be forced to admit there is a God, and he hates the New York Jets.
And he hates the Jets, right? Man, it's hard to go against the Lions here. I know Jordan Love, people are excited. People also forget 2 interceptions against San Francisco in the second playoff game last year, and a bad interception at the end of the game that probably cost them the game. But people are excited about Jordan Love. Is it crazy to say? I'm going to say it. I don't care. I'm going to say it.
Do it.
I don't think a rookie quarterback has ever had as much expectations as Caleb Williams has because of the team that he's on. Because DJ Moore is there, because Keenan Allen is there, because Roma Duze is there, because the defense is very good. I am going to take the Chicago Bears to win the NFC North. How about that?
Well, I already think Ryan Poles is going to win Executive of the Year. The team he has put around Caleb Williams has been incredible. I am not doing that. I think the arrow is up on them. I am not doing that. Green Bay, I called both their postseason games when they smoked Dallas and then lost to San Francisco. But the improvement of Jordan Love throughout the season was fantastic.
Right.
Defense will be interesting with a new D coordinator and a relationship with he and the players, which was bad with the last coordinator. I'm picking Detroit to go far this year, so I'm definitely picking Detroit to win the division.
All right, I'll pick Detroit also to win this division. I think Green Bay's nipping right at their heels. I don't have the Bears making the playoffs, but Stugotz, I think they are one of the most high-variance teams because Caleb is that caliber of quarterback. The NFC West is just a simple question for me. Is anyone picking against the 49ers? Now that they've got all their guys in camp, Trent Williams, Christian McCaffrey, Ayuk, is anyone picking against them to win?
I think that the more the question here is, are you going to pick multiple teams to make the playoffs? I'm picking the Rams to make the playoffs.
I am too.
So I'm just like last year. Both those teams made the playoffs, and I know that's tough to do because there's always changes. But I don't see the NFC. I certainly don't see Arizona making it, and the Seahawks. The Seahawks could go either way.
The Seahawks have the perfect marriage of offensive coordinator, offensive skill weapons, and quarterback there. And defensively, I think we already did the other day. I think Byron Murphy's going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year in that scheme, just basically being their Justin Madubuike, Nnamdi Madubuike.
It's hard to pick against the Niners. It just is. I would say the Niners fall in that same kind of conversation that we had with Baltimore and Lamar Jackson.
They're the highest level.
It's not that Brock Purdy has to win the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
It's Kyle Shanahan has to win a Super Bowl.
Yes. Brock Purdy is surrounded by so much talent, and that's been he's still going to be one of the highest paid, if not the highest paid quarterback when his turn comes up, if they were to get where they got again or even close to it. But it's not. He is not in the Lamar Jackson situation at all.
Yeah,
he hasn't won any MVPs. This is right on Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, this is going back to Atlanta. Kyle Shanahan has been Sisyphus pushing the rock up the hill for a while, and he has been stuck there and needs to get over it. So Niners win there. Now let's do the NFC East. Let's get to everybody's favorite.
It's funny that Kyle Shanahan is stuck there. A lot of people would love to be stuck where Kyle Shanahan
you're not
is stuck,
kidding,
but
right?
he has to win it.
He has to. And they had the little Brandon Ayuk and Trent Williams. That all got ironed out, so they're rolling.
All those players, man.
All right, Dad, you've been doubting the Cowboys. Yes. I imagine they're not going to be your pick for the NFC.
No.
You've been slandering the Cowboys to anyone who will listen this offseason.
I think the Giants are going to be the worst team in the division. I think Washington, I have Jaden Daniels as my rookie of the year.
Really?
Yeah, my offensive rookie of the year. Decent talent with Eckler in the backfield. Love Eckler. And McLaren out of wide receiver. Revamped O-line a little bit. And Dan Quinn, defensive guy to help that defense out. I think they're better, but not vying for the division. And I definitely think Dallas takes a step back. They may make the playoffs as a wild card, but I have Philly winning this division.
Why? Just out of curiosity, Dallas step back. Why?
No running game. CeeDee Lamb's the only passing game you got, and you struggle against the run. And I know you won 12 games the last 10
Giants
years.
and the Commanders in the same division.
And Stugotz, all those things he said were true about the team that won 12 games last year. Like every last one of those things was the case last year.
It doesn't mean they can do it again.
I know past performance is not predictive of the future or whatever.
I can never say that line. I can't even try and
good effort. I started off so strong.
You did. You did throw it in.
Future success or something.
Yeah, I thought you were going to nail it.
Stugotz handles my finances.
I just think, and this has nothing to do with me being a former Eagle, nothing to do with it. I just think the Cowboys are in for a down year.
Yes. I mean, I know we haven't had a repeat winner in this division since Nam, but I'm going to pick Cowboys to repeat in this division. I think against all odds, with all the weird headlines and everything that goes on around the circus of this team, the football will still be there.
Every time you ask me, did you make that deposit? And I tell you, yes, the deposit's not in the bank.
Christ.
It's in my pocket.
Oh, boy.
Why would I handle your money? Why would you say that?
Because I feel like I could trust you with that stuff. You've been like a friend and a mentor to me, and also someone.
Oh my God!
I've seen what you've done for yourself financially, and I want some of that for me.
Well, the friend and mentor stuff is interesting because I taught you. No one's paying attention to these predictions, so you might as well make them bold.
Who'd you pick?
It's not like they're going to. You got to take the Bears in the NFC North.
Who'd you take
one of those in?
NFC East?
Well, I'm tempted to say the Giants, but I'm going to say the Eagles.
You got to be bold. I'm going to pick one of the co-favorites. We'll hit the AFC next on GoJo Golic. All right, welcome back to GoJo Golic. Mike Golic Jr., Mike Golic Sr., and Stugotz out here on site outside of Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City ahead of the kickoff for the 2024 NFL season. And speaking of kickoffs, a reminder that coming up later today, so we've got our show here from 8 to 10 a.m. Eastern this morning. We have got the DraftKings kickoff in Kansas City going on. It's 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern. You can watch it all the same great places on the DraftKings Network, our YouTube channel, Samsung TV Plus, Roku, all those great places later on. It's going to be me, Dad, Stugotz, Billy Gill, and Mikey A just got here. We saw them walking up outside. We had dinner with TREY WINGO last night, who's going to be here with some of the pregame power-up crew. So everybody out here, the whole big happy family.
So we have to come back, is what you're saying, after this?
Yes, we have to come back. It's going to be a little more crowded when we come back. We're going to have to deal with a few more people when we come back.
And less work for all of us collectively when we come back.
Yes.
Good.
So. Yes. More chairs, less talking. Yeah, we had dinner with TREY last night. Last time me and TREY were in the same room was in my basement at the end of Golic and Wingo.
Yeah, that was.
With the final show. Oh, yeah, that's right. The final shows were from the basement.
Yeah, I had fully gone back to living in my parents' basement for a little while during the pandemic to do a nationally televised morning show out of there, because those are sentences that make sense when you say them in 2024. All right, so yeah, we've got that coming up later tonight. Again, we are out here right now. The sun is coming up.
Yes, it is.
And it is. It's starting to get spicy out here.
Is.
All those folks out in the tailgate lot, fire up the grills, have something ready for us when we come rolling back out of there in between shows, because we are gonna need it. All right, AFC divisions. We just did all the NFC playoff picks for those divisions. AFC, let's start with the AFC East, Stugotz, the home of your New York Jets.
Oh, boy.
How are we feeling?
The Dolphins are good. The Patriots are not. The Bills.
And that's why the Patriots will win the division.
Yeah, exactly. Bold. I dare you to go with that, Mike. Buffalo is going to be interesting, right? Losing Stephon Diggs to the Texans. How that whole thing is going to play out. Josh Allen, will he have an MVP-type season? I can't believe I'm saying this. I said it yesterday on our show with Le Batard. I don't think I've said this in the 20 years of me and Le Batard doing this show. I don't think I've ever said what I said yesterday and what I'm about to say to you guys today. The Jets are going to the Super Bowl.
Wow.
The Jets are going to win the AFC East, and the Jets are my pick out of the AFC to go to the Super Bowl.
So you have the Jets knocking off Kansas City?
Yeah.
Wow.
Or maybe Baltimore. Now, here's the thing, Mike.
The Jets are the favorite right now to win the AFC East, by the way. I had not noticed that till the other day.
So I said this yesterday on our show, and the second it came out of my mouth, Le Batard said, you said it last year. And so I'm like, no, I've never said this before. And then they played the tape, and they have tape of that.
Yes, you said it. Of course you said it. As soon as Aaron Rodgers went to the Jets, you said it.
Right.
I mean, are you kidding?
You could not prove that
I'm going to tell you, I'm not Super Bowl, but I'm agreeing on the division. You know, we talk about Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs' production went down the latter part of the year. They lost a lot more players than Stephon Diggs. Yeah. They had a big turnover. So I still think Buffalo can make. I'm trying to think of who would be out of the playoffs if I put the. I'm picking the Jets to win the division. By the way.
So you're saying if you put the Jets, Buffalo, and the Dolphins in the playoffs,
but I don't think I could put 3 there because I think 3 are going to go from the AFC North.
Wow.
So I think only 2 are going to go from the East. So that means either Buffalo or Miami are going to be out.
So you have Bengals, Browns, Ravens going out of the
Bengals,
North.
Browns, Ravens going in
you have
the
3
North.
from the North going out.
Just like last year.
He said no Pittsburgh.
Because last year it was Ravens, Browns, and Steelers.
Yeah, last year the Browns had a quarterback in Joe Flacco.
Yeah. So I'm going, all right, to AFC East, I'm going Jets. Who you going?
I am going to go with the Bills. I've been a Bills believer all offseason, strong foundation. I will roll with them there and be the brave and brash one to pick Buffalo to repeat to win the division. AFC West, we're obviously here in Kansas City. I'm picking the Chiefs. I wish I could concoct anything else. This division is interesting, though, because it's a case study on how important the quarterback is. Because you've got a team like the Chargers that have all offensive linemen, basically no skill players, and one of the better quarterbacks in the league. And then you've got a team like the Las Vegas Raiders that have all these great skill players. They've got the young tight ends they've drafted the last couple of years. They've got a sick D-line, and they've got like the replacement level quarterback in the NFL and Gardner Minshew at the helm for that team.
If we combine the Chargers and the Raiders, would they beat the Chiefs?
The Raiders
probably no.
Herbert having Devontae Adams and 2 tight ends that they have in Las Vegas. Oh my God! But I got to see what the Chargers are all about and what Harbaugh's building. We know what he wants to build. This is obviously the Chiefs. The question is just going to be, will there be another team?
Oh, I don't think so. I don't think so either. I think this is a one-bid division.
I agree.
I think it's Kansas City. I think the Chargers. The team that interests me the most are the Broncos.
Yeah.
Because I just want to see what Sean Payton can do with a quarterback that he selected with Bo Nix and see if he can turn him into a good quarterback.
A program that I don't know if many others would have selected that high in the first round besides Sean Payton. So, yeah, I'm with you guys. That one's easy. AFC North, this is the tough one. So we'll clear out space on this. Baltimore is tied with Cincinnati at plus 145. Both of those teams to win the division here. They're obviously the ones playing in the stadium tonight. Dad, who do you think wins this one?
I'm going with Cincinnati. Again, there has to be a number of teams that didn't make it that make the playoffs.
There doesn't have to.
There has been a pattern for decades.
I understand that.
It's like 50%.
It doesn't.
Yes.
I'm going with it. I'm going with knock on wood that everybody stays healthy on Cincinnati, especially the quarterback. But I will have 3 teams in. I'm going to have Cincinnati in, Baltimore in, and probably Cleveland in because of their defense.
Cleveland's the one I am worried about taking a step back just because offensively, I don't trust Watson. Your top 3 offensive tackles are coming off injury. You're going to miss Flacco.
Mikey took him to the playoffs.
Stugotz, we saw him out at Tahoe, by the way, by the pool.
Oh,
Joe Flacco jacked.
We said
sneaky jacked.
We said the largest quarterback room in the league is with the Colts.
Right. Dear God, we'll get to the South in a second.
But I have Cincinnati winning.
I'm picking the Ravens to repeat. What about you, Stu?
I'm with your dad here. I like Cincinnati. Last time Joe Burrow was healthy, they were 12-4. They beat Kansas City in the playoffs. Like the only guy they beat him in the regular season. The only guy that is beating Patrick Mahomes is Joe Burrow, and we forget how good Joe Burrow has been early on in his career when he is healthy. I think he'll be healthy this year. I think the Bengals win that division.
All right. I have the Bengals making the playoffs, but I have Baltimore repeating and winning this division.
You have 3 going from this division?
No, I have 2. I think I'm going to have Cleveland and Pittsburgh both missing the postseason because I think the AFC East, that Dolphins offense has so much speed.
I know.
And if they can just stay healthy, I understand the concerns about going to the cold. Maybe for them, that's a team that got to vie for the 1 seed to try and make sure that people come out there.
There could be 3 in the East and 2 in the North. There could be.
All right, AFC South. I don't think there will be 3 coming from this division anytime soon. But this division has 2 of the more interesting teams this year. A lot of people earlier this offseason were buying the Colts. I think I've talked myself into being curious about Tennessee, mostly motivated by offensive line coach going there, which is the most me thing possible.
Really?
The least sexy take thing ever is that Bill Callahan, the kingmaker, is going to come over and set the foundation in front of Will Levis, my Mayo brother. I have to support my Mayo guy. Yeah. That being said, of course, I'm not picking them to win the division. The Texans are going to win the division.
But that's why I thought
spicy.
That's why I thought you were able to talk yourself into it. Not because of an offensive line coach, because of a quarterback.
No, because of an old line.
What's the matter with the 2 of you?
I think
you went Chris Jones earlier. I mean,
I did what?
Chris Jones on the play.
Chris Jones is an all-world player.
What do people want to hear about on sports talk radio? The coach's dad who coaches offensive line.
Damn right.
Nepo baby brother in arms, Brian Callahan, leading the Titans to the promised land.
So who can challenge Houston the most? Because I have Houston winning. I'd imagine you have Houston winning. Is it the Colts or is it Jacksonville?
I think it's Jacksonville.
Oh, yeah. It should be Jacksonville, although offensively for them, going to be really interesting this year, like some of the losses that they suffered, but it should be them. Indy's the team with the highest ceiling, right? If they hit it right and if Anthony Richardson really popped, that's the team that probably could be the highest variance of the group.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of the X factor. 4 games, 4 rushing touchdowns. You know, he was doing his thing, and they have some skilled players around him. But I think only one team, and it's Houston.
Mike, are you buying into Anthony Richardson if he stays healthy the way most of, I guess, fans, experts, and the league seem to be jumping in on him?
I don't know as a passer just yet. Certainly a runner, but I don't know as a passer yet.
Yeah. I'm just building in too many bumps in the road for it to be like the dark horse MVP season that people were trying to go with before. We'll get closer to the mountaintop. It's champions. It's Super Bowls. It's coming up next. It's GoJo and Golic.
Welcome back to GoJo and Golic, everybody. The guys, as you can see, are out in Kansas City. It is getting bright out there. They're having a great time. Mike Golic Jr., Mike Golic Sr., and Stugotz being literally blinded by the light. We just did our predictions trend for division winners. Let's get a little big picture here. Let's talk conference winners. Let's start in the AFC. Okay, Chiefs plus 300 to take it, followed closely by their opponent tonight, Ravens at plus 550. What do you guys think? Please discuss.
Yeah, AFC Championship game starts to get real interesting this season because I've been saying it for a while. I'm picking the Chiefs to three-peat. I'm doing it. I'm staying strong, a man of my convictions, and I'm picking them to three-peat. So I've got them in that spot. But Stugotz, I know you've got the Jets winning the Super Bowl. So is it Jets Chiefs? Who are they facing on their road to returning the green to glory?
Man. I'm going to go against the Chiefs again for a third consecutive year here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to say it's Jets and Bengals. I think the Jets and the Cincinnati. I am big on Joe Burrow. I think people, and he goes away because he gets injured often, but they forget how good he is when he is healthy. So I am going to go New York Jets, Cincinnati Bengals.
New York Jets in the AFC, and the Jets winning that and representing in the Super Bowl.
Yes, yeah. Yep. I've never said it. I've never said it on any show except I said it last year.
I've never heard you say it to me personally.
That's all that matters.
So
right. If I did say it to Mike Golic Jr., it means I've never said it.
I have to believe in the last 20 years you've said it before.
I have never felt like my team was good enough to make the Super Bowl. I actually feel
not
like
when
this team
Sam Darnold was the pick.
No,
when
not
Zach Wilson was the pick.
Not when Sam was the pick. Not when Zach was the pick. Not when Mark Sanchez was taking us to back-to-back AFC championship games. Not when Richard Todd was the quarterback in the early 80s.
Even when you went to the AFC title games with Sanchez, you didn't think
I never thought we were going to win those games. I never thought that was sustainable because Sanchez wasn't good enough.
You are truly a glass half cracked guy, not half full.
Mike's
a Jets fan.
No, your dad was asking me last year, why are you not celebrating appropriately that the Jets got Aaron Rodgers? I said, because something bad is going to happen. It's the New York Jets.
Did know before everyone.
It took 4 plays for something bad to happen.
By the way, did you know, not to put a damper on it, but you know who hurt him in the game?
Who?
Leonard Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
And you know Leonard Floyd is on the 49ers now. And they play in game 1.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to game 1. I got to be honest with you. I was hoping all these guys would hold out just a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Especially Trent Williams.
Seen him get on a private plane with his dog, Stugotz.
I was like, no!
I am going a couple of years ago, and I'm going to go KC in Cincinnati.
Okay.
In the AFC Championship game.
Be a great game.
Yeah. I am having Kansas City win it. I am having Kansas City get to the Super Bowl.
Wow.
Oh,
yeah.
There you
To
go.
the Super Bowl.
All right. We'll get a payoff on that in a second. I'm going to go Buffalo. I've been beating the drum for them all offseason. I think
You have.
This could
Really?
be the kind of year for Josh Allen that we had for Mahomes a few years back. Stugotz referenced it. Tyreek Hill leaves town. Everyone talks about this. Stephon Diggs was part of the Josh Allen evolution. His growth into being the passer he's become happened when Steph Diggs came over there and gave him someone who got open to get to consistently while he was still hammering out the accuracy stuff. He's there. I think he's now of that weapons grade of quarterback where they can go and throw these guys open, go and offset that. We know the value add he is in the run game. So I'm saying this is the Josh Allen year. He's threatening the MVP race. He was playing that kind of football down the back half of last season. So I'll take Chiefs and I'll take Bills in the AFC title game as a rematch of the, 13-second game?
Yeah. Mike, it really is amazing. I'm just looking at the landscape of the AFC. Like, the amount of great quarterbacks the AFC has.
Oh, it's sickening.
Yeah.
I mean, C.J. Stroud. We haven't even talked about, like, Trevor Lawrence, you know? But Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. It's just Aaron Rodgers.
They're all counting
Patrick
new money
Mahomes
this
and Tua.
offseason.
I know. It's
Saw
unbelievable.
Trevor Lawrence by the porta potties in Lake Tahoe. Glowing. It smelled so rich.
He used a porta potty?
Yeah, I know, but I think he was just like out there helping the poor people, like me get there. And then he went to his own private bathroom.
The quarterbacks and wide receivers all got paid.
They did.
This offseason.
Yeah.
A lot of them did, yeah.
All right, so we've gotten through the AFC. Let's go to the NFC now. 49ers, Detroit Lions are the 1 and 2 favorites there, followed by Philadelphia, the Dallas Cowboys, the NFC East contingency there. A little further back, I'm surprised how far back you can get the Packers at this point, considering the hype train
Crazy.
that's built
Big
up
hype
around
train
them.
for
So,
them.
NFC Championship matchup for you, Dad. What do you got?
The NFC is much less deep than the AFC.
Yeah.
So I go, again, San Francisco and Detroit. I just think they're the two best teams. Green Bay does kind of just hang out there, you know, about as a team. If Jordan Love, you know, if they say improvement between your first, now it's his first year as a starter. It's not his first year in the league.
Right.
First year as a starter. But to improve to your second year, boy, that would be a jump because, man, did he improve during the year. But I like San Francisco and Detroit. And I like Detroit making it to the Super Bowl.
Wow.
I think Detroit beat San Fran. We know their 3 runs last year. They played the Rams, beat them 24-23. They beat Tampa Bay 31-23. Lost to San Francisco 34-31. And then San Francisco obviously went on to lose in overtime to KC. But I have Detroit, San Francisco, and I have Detroit winning and going to the Super Bowl.
How do you feel about that, Stugotz? I see you making a lot of noises right now.
Well, because you got to go bold here. It's like I don't feel like anyone's really.
Well, do you have to go bold or you want to be right?
Well, so here's the thing. No one remembers when you're right unless you do it in a way that's bold.
But
you know what I'm saying?
You know why they'll remember I'm right? Because I'll yell it every show if I'm right.
I know, but
I was right.
But, Mike, imagine after the season you're walking down a random street anywhere in America, okay? No one's going to say, hey, there's the guy that picked the Lions to make it to the Super Bowl. But if you took the Chicago Bears to make it to the Super Bowl out of the NFC, they would say there's the only guy in America that picked the Chicago Bears to win the Super Bowl.
Anything to you because they won't make it to the Super Bowl.
That's why I'm going to pick them, okay? It's a win-win. Either no one talks to me or everyone talks to me.
Right.
And so I don't care. I'm taking the Chicago Bears to make it out of the NFC.
There we go.
Yeah.
Wow.
A Bears-Jets Super Bowl.
Bears-Jets Super Bowl. Beautiful.
You see the reaction I just got from Trey off to the side
Trey
here?
Wingo just walked up here right now and is palpably disgusted.
Oh, that's what you're going for, gentlemen, okay?
that is. I get. I guess I haven't reached that level of picking for those reasons just yet. I'm actually trying to be right.
How dare you?
How dumb am I? You know, what have I been doing for 3 decades?
I'll split the difference on this because I originally in my head I was going to go like Dad. I was going to go rematch of last year's NFC Championship, but I want to help. I want to help appease Stugotz a little bit here with this, and so I'll say San Francisco's still going to make it here. But, and I looked last year, I had to make sure the math was possible on this because sometimes the playoffs are hard for me. I'll take the 49ers against the Rams. I'll do an all NFC West NFC championship.
Wow.
I've been buying. Now, the Rams worry me right now at the beginning of the season because there's been a lot of injuries
on that O-line.
A lot of that O-line.
Yeah.
Aaron Donald retired.
Aaron Donald doesn't live here anymore. Get all that stuff. They traded the linebacker that was the vocal leader of their team right before the season.
And, oh, by the way, they lost their second leading tackler. Both their top 2 tacklers gone from the team.
Listen.
I like what you're doing here, though. You're giving all the reasons as to why they're going to take a step back when you're about to pick them.
When I'm about to pick them to get there. Because, again, if this offense, and we saw it last year, this offense was not always healthy and on the field together. But when they finally did get to that point, when Kyron Williams was back on the field, when Matthew Stafford comes back, and you obviously get Cooper Kupp as well, that looked like a top 5 offense in the NFL. And the defense, Aaron Donald hadn't taken a step back, but you saw some of those young guys, Kobe Turner and company there. They drafted half a Florida State offensive line, and we've seen how important those 2 guys were, Braden Fisk and Jared Verse to the Florida State team that now can't function without those 2 there. So I'll say by the end of the year, they put it together enough that offense is a shredder, top 3 unit in the NFL, and the defense can do just enough with a bunch of youth and energy and not knowing what they don't know to get them there.
So are we picking Super Bowl winners now?
We can do that later on.
Okay.
We've got like 30 seconds left in this.
Oh, I was going to say, we don't really have time to break down.
Leave us a lot of runway here.
So
you have a lot of setup for the Rams.
You have
Stugotz.
I have Chicago and the Jets.
Yes. I have Kansas City and Detroit. You have...
I have the Bills and the Chiefs, and then in the NFC, I have the 49ers and the Rams.
Who do you have making the Super Bowl?
I have making the Super Bowl. I have the 49ers and the Chiefs.
There's the guy that picked the 49ers and the Chiefs.
That's how you thread the needle, folks. Hour number 2. More of this next.
To GoJo and Golic. Football begins today, and we are so excited. The guys are out in Kansas City, and you know who else is excited for football to start? That would be Josh Allen. The fellas had a chance to catch up with him earlier this week. Take a listen.
All right, now it feels like football. We got Josh Allen, Bill's starting quarterback, here in the room with us now. And Josh, as we get ready to kick off the season, man, how you feeling?
Feeling good, ready to go. I'm ready to get this thing going too. I didn't get many snaps in preseason, so just chomping at the bit to get on the field.
I wanted to ask about that because I'm always curious with guys like you who are veteran status, such an integral part of this team and have been around and played enough ball. Are the reps in the preseason game a conversation that you and Sean have? Is it something that he just dictates to you? How does that go?
Yeah, I don't really get much say in it. I'm just kind of here for the ride, and whatever is being asked of me, I'm going to do. So if that's playing a bunch of football in the preseason, not playing a bunch of football in the preseason, I'm just kind of following Coach McDermott's lead and what they're telling me, and I'm just trying to support my guys as best as I can.
What has been the biggest difference with Joe? Obviously, like you said, the last half of last year, everyone talked about some of the ways we all saw the offense we thought changed. But for you, what has the day-to-day been like? What do you feel like is different about the offense with him?
Yeah, I mean, I think he does such a great job in terms of relating to the guys, understanding what certain guys like in certain situations, really calling the plays for us, not to us. And I think that's a really big thing for offenses when O-linemen know that my favorite run call, whether it's a duo or a sweep or whatever it is, they feel confident in the fact that Joe's going to call it. And Joe's very much in the business of, if you guys want it, you guys are going to make it work, I'm going to call it. And I think that players feel vindicated by that, and it's a pretty good feeling in our locker room.
So talking about adjusting to a coordinator who was the last half of last year, but also a new center. Mitch Moore's gone now, and my son was a former center, so I know the relationship of the center and the quarterback. You have Connor McGovern at center, so how, especially when you're under center, is there an adjustment period there?
Absolutely, and I think any center that you play with, it's going to sound weird, but there's a different feel to certain guys. Some guys are a little more centered, some guys are left, some guys are right. Some guys, when they're moving left, snap it further right. So you have to understand what plays that you can expect that on, and then adjust accordingly. But again, that's the number one play in all of sports is the center getting the ball to the quarterback. We got to be ready for it. Obviously, you don't want to have these fumbled snaps and miscommunication. But I think Connor's been doing a great job. We talk very, very regularly throughout the play. He's looking back and trying to give me little tidbits of information, like, hey, like safety's capped on the star here, or they're in double A, whatever it is. And he's doing a really great job of communicating to me so I can make adjustments as we go.
I was just going to ask, the delegation up front, setting protection, all those things, is that a situation where he starts it off and you have final say, where you're mostly in control? How have you guys organized that?
Yeah, we have a set base of, or a set of base rules that we follow every time we step up to the ball in our give of protection. So if I see anything that's going against our rules, I have the power to change it, and that's kind of how we roll with it. But he's making the initial points. I'm listening. If something doesn't sound right, I'll switch it and go from there.
Most importantly, Dad mentioned the under center stuff. What's the swamp ass situation like?
I've had worse. It's been not so much during practice in the games. It's more so during walkthroughs when we're inside. It's a little hotter. You don't have those clothy pants to absorb some of that sweat. That fiber type of shorts that we wear that just kind of get soaked. It's all right.
The things that are really taking the fans down on the field to get the pertinent information.
Yeah.
Your ability to run, makes you that much greater of a quarterback. In a day and age of more quarterbacks that do run, but also the thought of getting hurt while you're running, are you consciously thinking about that early season, mid-season, late season on when you choose to run?
I don't know about consciously. I think the types of plays that we call, maybe early on in the year we wouldn't call until we need them late in the season. And that just gives our offense a different dynamic. But definitely not shying away from running because, like you said, it is a part of my game that I feel like we could utilize to the best of our ability, and it helps us stay dynamic and stay two-dimensional. And I think that's the number one thing is how can we get defenses to think that we can either run or pass on this play, which limits the defense's ability to whether it's bring pressure or show different stunts because they're not really sure what version of offense that they're going to get. You know, we got to be smart when we do it, and most notably myself, sliding and not taking the extra hits. But you know, it's been a weapon for us in the past, and hopefully we can utilize it going forward as well.
I heard you on with Chris Long over on Green Light talking about, the hardest pass you've ever thrown in a game. Do you remember the hardest hit you've either delivered or received as a rusher in a game?
You know, I was talking about it today. The hardest I've ever gotten hit, and it was my first play in junior college football. And I threw a ball, and I got hit right in the chest. And it was a helmet right there, and I'm on the ground, and I get up. And we were a team that like checked at the sidelines, so coaches signal in a number for the play. And my eyes they wouldn't go straight. I couldn't see. So I was asking the running back, I was like, what did he call so I can run the play? But it wasn't like I didn't get hit to the head. I just got hit so hard. I couldn't breathe. I got up and literally my eyes just would not focus until I got the snap for the next play.
At Reedley Community College before you went to Wyoming. And I wanted to bring up your recruitment. You didn't get recruited by D1 teams. You wanted to go to Fresno State. That didn't work out. And part of the reason I think, and I remember reading about, was that you were a multi-sport athlete. You didn't stick to one sport. But what would you say to the youth of America as far as being because I'm a firm believer in multi-sports growing up, but we know with scholarships, sometimes you got to go to one sport. What's your thought on the multi-sport high school athlete?
Yeah, I'm all for playing different sports. I played basketball, baseball, football every year in high school, and even before that. I think, and I think the number one thing that doesn't get talked about enough for all athletes, I think swimming is so vital in developing different types of muscle movements, and not to mention the mental toughness. When you're in the water, you're by yourself. I remember many times where it's practice. I don't want to keep doing this. It's 15 laps or whatever. Now I'm 7, 8 years old, and my dad's the president of the swim team. And I've got tears in my goggles as I'm swimming. I just want to get out of here. And I keep looking up, and my dad's standing there with his arms crossed, like waiting for me to finish my 10 or 15 laps, whatever it is. But, I attribute a lot of my mobility and really athletic success to swimming. I think it's such a powerful sport that everybody should be doing.
From tears in the pool to now becoming one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, I'd say it's worked out very well for you here. So that's a lesson to everyone out there to stick with it and get after it. Josh, we could sit here and talk to you all day. I know you got something cool going on with the folks at Pepsi. What can you tell us about that heading into the season?
Yeah, it's the Make Your Game Day Epic campaign. It's an ode to the movie Gladiator. So it was me, Travis Kelce, Jay Jets, and Derrick Henry. And we had so much fun on set. Meg Thee Stallion with her new song coming out too. And obviously Gladiator 2 is coming out. So it was kind of a combination of the old and the new. And we got to see a snippet of the movie of the new one coming out. And it was just fantastic. But what a day. It was a couple days of on set and filming, and there's CGI tigers and jumping over stuff and wearing like the full Gladiator getup. It was definitely outside of my comfort zone, but being there with the guys and joking around. I mean, me and Derrick, we joked the entire day. So we made it pretty seamless for each other, and it's something I'll remember forever, being able to partner with a great sponsor and a great company like Pepsi.
Oh, that's awesome.
Josh, I got to say, between the Paramount Plus commercials from last year with you and Peppa Pig and now this, you're making a claim to be the best active quarterback actor on the planet. Do you feel like you deserve that title at this point?
I think I've got some help with me, but I would definitely say, yeah. There's been a few things that I've been able to do, and I think most notably my schedule release with the Buffalo Bills.
I feel like you guys have the best social department in the NFL. Have you ever had to tell them no?
I'm the one that's sometimes giving them ideas. They are off the wall, but I think I'm just up there with the creativeness that they got. So it's been pretty fun with them.
It's incredible to watch, man, as is everything on the field. Best of luck, man. Stay healthy this season. We're excited to watch you go to work. All right, man?
Thank you so much. Y'all have a great one.
Thanks, Josh.
Good stuff from Josh. Let's talk about another star, okay? Bengals fans can breathe a sigh of relief because yesterday Ja'Marr Chase was seen practicing with actual pads and a helmet on. Good Lord. Thank the Lord. Guys, as we all know, he's been a hold-in, okay, while having discussions about a contract extension. So is this the end of the drama? Is he going to play here? What do we think is going on?
I don't think the drama's ever over. The last time Zach Taylor thought the drama was over, he said he fully expects him to play in week 1, and Ja'Marr Chase promptly sat out. So I can't wait to see the next thing that Zach Taylor says in front of the microphone about this situation out of fear that he might compromise his best player outside of the quarterback being on the field.
It better be just short and sweet. That we take it day to day. I mean, they better be the most cliche-ic answers.
It should be him
known.
in an I Heart Ja'Marr t-shirt with money bags that say Ja'Marr Chase on them.
Trying to woo him back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Trying to convince the front office, the Browns, to go out there and pay him.
Mike, you're the Bengals, and I know the Bengals, like the ownership, the way they go about their business, they never change. But you have a window here. You're the Bengals. You have a window. You got the quarterback right. You got the wide receiver right. You drafted well. Why not just sign Ja'Marr Chase?
I mean, there are exceptions to all rules. They don't want to set a precedent. They've never done a deal with 2 years left, and that's what Ja'Marr Chase has. So blah, 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 all those reasons. But there are times when, to your point, you have a great player and you have an open window. Now, you also are playing the business side of it of saying, okay, you know you're going to have to pay him, but is there one more year before you have to do the deal, one more offseason?
Is he really going to sit out?
Is he really going to sit out? Mm-hmm. You know, we saw, and players may, because again, he's not losing a lot of money this year.
Right.
You know, this year is like making $1 million in salary, and you throw in prorated signing bonus, it's still not that much. Whereas next year, as a fifth-year option, it would be in the 20 millions, I think. So I don't think it would be unheard of if he were to sit out a la Chris Jones last year, sitting and watching them lose to Detroit here in Kansas City in game 1 from a suite, and then signing after that, of seeing where the leverage goes. So it's kind of they're playing chicken.
I just love, because Stugotz hammers home the real thing here. It's the Bengals. It's the same old, and I understand they built the new locker room stuff there. I know a lot of the locals around Cincinnati bristle at the idea of the same old Bengals that don't want to spend on anything that we've been saying since, God knows how long.
Forever.
That being said, it is sort of an unstoppable force meets movable object, because Ja'Marr Chase, while it's not the same sitting out the COVID season in college, proved, hey, he wasn't worried about his future. He knew because he was that great, he was still going to be a top flight draft pick, even if he didn't go out there and play in circumstances he wasn't comfortable in. He's a guy that, like Dad said, isn't making a ton of money now and knows at some point somebody is going to pay him. And if he can forsake team success, so can the Bengals.
Right.
Like, this is an organization that has traditionally only cared so much about winning to a point that still keeps butts in seats, that keeps people interested enough, but not necessarily like, oh, yeah, we got to go and win the Super Bowl. So I'll be curious, really. I have no read on who would blink first in this situation, because, again, if you're the Bengals and you've got that precedent that's extended through your franchise, and you've had great players there before, it's not like Jamar's the first one, would you really blink for him?
I mean, $9.8 million this year. I understand why he wants a new contract. I mean, he is far outperforming what he is about to make at $9.8 million this year.
Oh, yeah. I mean, his peers in terms of quality are making 3x that and then some.
So, Mike, if you look at it from the Bengals standpoint, do you just kind of hold your ground? Because do you really think the player's going to sit out? Because he also knows we have a window here. Joe Burrow is healthy. I want to play.
Like I say, T. Higgins, his counterpart in that receiver room, might not be here next year.
Yeah.
Probably won't be here next year.
T. Higgins quickly playing on the franchise tag.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much leverage that Ja'Marr Chase would get in game number 1 is against the Patriots. I don't think Cincinnati is going to struggle against New England.
They can win that one without him.
If they did, though. Right. But game number 2 is against the Chiefs. So that
oh, wow. Burrow and Mahomes, week 2. I mean, that's an appropriate response for what it is your dad said.
That's the exact right
That was
response.
such a great breakdown. That's why he's a Hall of Famer. Okay? He was right to that schedule. Patriots, not a big deal.
But that's what you're looking for. You're looking for leverage, right? You're looking for for them to say, "Oh, we really need this guy."
And I'm glad that we have started all in the last couple of weeks talking more appropriately, because everyone, when they think of a player sitting out, thinks of Le'Veon Bell and the Jets. Thinks, "Oh my God, you've got to be willing to sit out the entire year."
Yeah.
Yep.
You don't have to be willing to sit out the entire year. But you can try and make it weird, and we've talked more about Chris Jones because, again, Trent Williams, who also sat out the vast majority of the season in Washington,
trade deadline,
that was a misdiagnosis with his health and a lot of things that were even more deeply personal than money there for a guy who also gives no Fs when it comes to forsaking the team in that way to prove a point. Not saying he's not a team guy. I don't want to insinuate that about Trent Williams. He's very big and very scary, and I don't want to be on the wrong side of that guy. But
careful, Mike. I can't.
For in this situation though, Chris Jones sat in a box with his agents and watched his team play Week 1 last year.
Watch him lose.
That's doable for a lot of these guys.
Yeah, it is. I mean, there's Le'Veon Bell, who I don't think that pays off at all. There's Trent Williams, who, and again, it was for medical reasons too, that he waited until the absolute week where the year had to count. That was the trade deadline, and then they're sitting out a game or two. And maybe that's Jamar Chase's leverage. If he wants to sit out game 1, is the threat of sitting out game 2 against Kansas City.
Right. How does that look, though, if you're Jamar Chase and you do sit out game 1 against the Patriots? Is he rooting for the Patriots to win that game?
No. You're rooting for your team to win, but for your position to play bad, for the passing game not to go well.
So you're rooting for 13-10 Bengals.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. You want it's like, we're saying Lou Anarumo's name again.
Yeah.
Remember him? We talked about Big Lou a lot. Everyone loved Lou Anarumo, and the defense couldn't tackle it.
You want to get the win in a low-scoring game, and then you want to have the Kansas City game hanging there.
Right.
Of, hey, if we're going to maybe try for the number 1 seed, this is a game we would need to win.
You're not beating that team 13-10.
And again, listen, players, teammates. We always talk about teammates. What do they think? Teammates don't get involved. They would love to have them on the field, but this is about money,
right?
And you don't get involved in another man's money.
Well, and especially when it's one of the best players, because it's the thought of, if they'll do that to him, imagine what they'll do to me.
Right.
Like, if they're not going to pay him,
correct,
then they're not going to pay me.
Then who are they going to pay? They paid Joe Burrow, though.
They did pay Joe Burrow.
And Jamar Chase is like, all right,
this whole thing is because there's 2 years left. And this is something the Bengals haven't done.
But to your point, like, they're always going to root on for their players there. So, and that's the team for you, Dad. I mean, you sweating this out at all. You're picking them to win the division. You're picking them to go to the Super. How far did you have them going again? I already forgot.
I have them going to the AFC Championship.
There you go.
Losing against Kansas City. Yeah.
It's a long show. It's hot out here. I just went outside and got a proximity heater in me from Stugotz.
Rank up the excuse machine. Yeah.
I don't think it would be long if he were to sit. But I don't know if he's going to give in and play, or if the Bengals will give in and pay him. I don't know where it'll go.
Jesse has a question here on this front for us that I want to get to, because we're devolving into stupid over here on my end.
Well, I just want to know if this is making you reconsider having, like, the Bengals at 7 in your power rankings, GoJo. I mean, is this making you nervous, this whole Jamar Chase situation?
No.
No? You feel good?
I still feel pretty good about that overall, because I do think eventually this gets worked out somehow. Like, okay. I do feel like that happens. I do feel like, again, him being back at practice, while this feels like we're the car on the edge of the cliff in a movie right now, we're all just trying not to move, make sure we don't go over the edge. It feels like it's a positive sign, and maybe we won't get to all the histrionics for this. But no, I'm still confident in the Bengals at that spot in the power rankings that I definitely didn't just make in one afternoon.
He has no choice, Jess. He has to stay confident.
Yeah, you got to.
One thing I do worry about.
Until we get the Week 1 games in, then I can just scrap it all.
Yeah.
One thing I do worry about, and I know training is better and diets are better.
Oh, yeah, soft tissue.
But I worry about guys like Brandon Ayuk, Trent Williams, Jamar Chase, even CeeDee Lamb, though he signed a bit ago, about guys, especially receivers, getting those soft tissue injuries when they're going all out, which they haven't done to this point. Again, I know the training is better. I understand all that, but there's a number of players who have held out right to the end, and I just worry that someone's going to come up limping.
Well, with Chase, it's the oddest of holdouts, right? Because he's practicing every couple of days, and then he's back, and then he's holding out again.
Practicing until Zach Taylor says, "Oh, he's going to play," and then he's not practicing.
My dad has said the word soft tissue on the show every week this entire offseason.
He's alive.
If we get through this with hamstrings intact, it is going to be a miracle with the amount of bad juju he's put out in the universe.
Welcome back to GoJo and Golic. This show is rolling on until 10 a.m., but do not forget to join us later today, too. The guys are going to be live right here before the game from 4 to 7 p.m. for our special kickoff in Kansas City. GoJo, Golic, Stugotz, TREY WINGO, Billy Gill, and more for 3 hours. Can you think of anything better? We have some great guests coming through. We'll, of course, preview the game. They'll give you a little sneak peek of what we've got coming up this NFL season on DKN. So join us live from 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern right here on DraftKings Network. And you guys have one of those esteemed guests with you now, I believe.
Yes, we do. The host of the brand new pregame power-up Mondays and Thursdays on the DraftKings Network, Hal Chapman Wingo III.
Esteemed?
I am
Have you
surprised.
ever been introduced as esteemed?
Never. Hey, I know you guys.
Hey, how are you?
This is a familiar
As I
looking
said,
crew up here.
last time we were together was in my basement.
Exactly. Taking laps around the pool.
In my basement,
Trying to
then
keep
we got
positive when nothing was going on.
then we got kicked out of our basement and kicked out of ESPN.
And yet we're here in Kansas City anyway.
You're not the only one that gets kicked out of ESPN, my friend.
Actually, I think that list is larger than those that happen.
Yeah, that's so true. That is
By the
so
way,
true.
before we get anything, can we just stop with the ridiculousness of hotel rooms?
Just
Why
in general
do
as
they-
a concept?
Well, no.
Right.
I know this doesn't bother you, but the game of hide the hairdryer. right? Like, it's never in the bathroom. You go to the hotel room, it's never in the Where is it? In the
Wait
safe?
a minute.
Is it
Wait
in the
a minute.
closet?
You're talking to three guys up here. One who is bald.
I said this doesn't concern you.
And I guarantee
You did say that.
I guarantee you,
Stugotz's hair in
I guarantee you, Stugotz doesn't use a hair dryer, and I haven't used one ever.
It's
so
just frustrating. Why don't you just put it in the bathroom? Why is it in the closet?
Where
in the
it
safe,
belongs.
in the drawer? Like, why do you put it?
see this
other
coming.
places?
Trey has been sitting over there in a chair, stewing for 45 minutes, watching us
frustrating.
barf NFL takes, and the first thing he comes up here with is hair dryer. Have you heard the news? They're hiding hair dryers in the hotel room.
But he
drives
is
me
right.
crazy,
He
right?
is right. It is
Thank you.
never in the
It's never
bathroom.
where it
It's
should
always in
be.
a middle drawer next to the Bible.
Yeah.
It's like, it's crazy.
I can't believe we're still doing Bibles in the hotel. Well, actually,
know.
given the current state of some things in this country, I'm not surprised that we have
That's the
reinstituted the
least
Bibles.
surprising thing.
Mandatory.
Mandatory Bibles in the nightstand there.
I just had to get that off my chest.
did not see that on the bingo card. Not
Top
gonna
5
lie.
complaints
Gotta
about
keep 'em moving.
hotel
Wow.
travel.
Gotta keep 'em
Stugotz.
moving.
Wow, but I imagine there's a number of people going, yeah, you're right.
And they're
mostly
probably,
women.
They're probably 17-year-old girls. So, yeah, I apologize.
Stugotz athletes that connote hotels.
Oh, wow.
T.Y. Hilton.
Oh, my God.
Nicely
That's a
done.
good one.
Well done.
I am running through the Rolodex trying to think of someone with the last name Sheridan. Wasn't there a guy who picked games?
Was there a punt returner named Marriott somewhere?
It's got to be. You know what? In lieu of that, now that we've gotten the hotel, any other complaints? I mean, were
No,
the
everything else was
towels to your
wonderful.
liking?
Towels
Are
were
you one of those
wonderful.
guys when you go to the hotel, Trey? If you're going to be there for a while,
Yeah.
you put the do not disturb on the door and you just go feral in the room for a
Yes,
little bit.
the air conditioning goes down to 63.
Yes.
The shades are drawn.
Hang the towels up after the shower.
Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Just leave me alone.
Oh yeah, see, my favorite thing is when I'm done, I've used every towel. Like when I go into a hotel room, one thing about me is I'm going to use every towel in there.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to use every towel in there over the course of that. And when I'm done, I put them all in a ball right on the bathroom floor.
Yeah.
Try and make it easy for housekeeping when they come by, but it's all balled up on a floor.
And these are the great takes you'll find on the pregame Power Up show. This is what we'll talk about on the pregame Power Up show. We will get to football, but hotel takes will be fun.
Listen, I'm there for 3 days. One thing else, I save water. I don't flush for 3 days.
That's important.
Yeah.
Speaking
Mike's about
just
the
letting
environment.
Steep in there.
Mike Hampton.
Oh!
Omar Hampton.
Done.
All right, perfect. We're off and running. All right, well, Trey, outside of being angry about hotel takes, you have heard us over here, and I've seen you make a lot of faces at our takes as we've previewed the NFL season. We've done divisions. We've done everything. What was your biggest moment of disgust over in the corner listening to us talk about football?
Well, but obviously,
Besides the
Stugotz-
hairdryer.
Yes, Stugotz obviously saying, "Listen, I'm just going to go wildly shoot because that's the only people will." Hey, you're the guy that wildly shot one way or the other. I'm going to hurt you now, and I apologize.
Been hurt before.
Can someone explain to me why everyone is all in on the Jets? Like, I do not understand it.
Well,
You were going off about this last night. You were very out on the Jets.
Do not get it, okay? This is a team that historically fails, right?
Yep.
And their only Super Bowl championship was before men walked on the moon. Supposed. Yeah. You know.
Open your third eye, sheeple.
So there.
Speaking of the Jets, someone on that team who would believe in
I'm a
that
critical thinker. So I'm critically thinking about the Jets, okay? They always find a way to come up short. So to fix that, they're going to bring in arguably Mount Rushmore quarterback in the history of the NFL, Aaron Rodgers. I have no debate with that.
proven good.
Who historically fails in the postseason. Like, let's just be honest about
Except
it.
the one time
Except that one time at
Right.
Van
He
Camp.
didn't.
You're exactly
You beat
right.
Kevin down
Okay.
Cherry Hill.
The point I'm making is that Aaron Rodgers became the starting quarterback for the Green Bay Packers in 2008. And over that time frame, the Packers, with Aaron Rodgers as their starting quarterback, their playoff record is 12-10.
Yeah.
Contrast that, Patrick Mahomes was drafted in 2018, a full decade after Aaron Rodgers was drafted. And under Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs have 15 playoff wins and only 3 losses.
Well, he's like the gross outlier in this situation.
But if we're
though.
talking, about one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time,
Fair. Sure. Yeah.
Okay. For example, Peyton Manning's playoff record is 14-13. People are like, well, why aren't you? He's been to 4 bowls,
Right.
and been there with 2 different teams, and was the first quarterback in NFL history
Was he really there with
to win a
Denver?
Super Bowl. Well, he was there.
He was handing the ball
He was
off.
there. I say, if your opinion of Peyton Manning changed after Super Bowl 50, then you didn't understand the
Yeah, this is a
question.
Rorschach test for people
Correct.
watching football.
The point being that at least Peyton, with a 1 game over 500 record as a starting
Was
quarterback,
at the bowl.
has been to 4 of them.
Yeah.
Right.
So I just until we're still in Missouri, right? We're in Kansas City, Missouri. We're not in Kansas City, Kansas right now.
Right.
Missouri's the
Show me state.
We were show me
we were
state.
surprised before the show. Stugotz and I were like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, Kansas City."
No, half in Kansas, half in Missouri.
But
so you got to show me that this is going to work before I'm buying.
I guess the question is they failed at 2 drafts of quarterbacks.
Correct. Got our guy though. That was the tweet. Got our guy.
So at least, but at least they made the effort now,
Yes,
and
100%.
they're building around it. They do have one of the better defenses, and they have some great offensive weapons with Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall.
Yeah.
O-line is certainly going to be an issue for them, but at least they're kind of going for it with a quarterback.
Absolutely.
I don't agree with the Super Bowl, the take by Stugotz, but I do think they can win the division and make the playoffs, which would be a huge step up. The only problem is you're going to have to be without Aaron Rodgers in another year or so and then basically start over.
Let's be honest about it. If you make this bold gamble for Aaron Rodgers, it's not about making the playoffs.
No, it's about winning the Super Bowl.
about winning
it's about
the Super
getting
Bowl.
to or winning the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Like that's the bottom line.
I was going to say,
and I also have realistic concerns about a 41-year-old quarterback
Making it through.
coming off an Achilles. Like, I don't know. We all think, look, everyone's like, well, Tom Brady did it. Well, if everybody could do it, they would do it.
Yeah.
Like, Tom Brady's a freaking weirdo outlier.
I will
man.
say, Aaron Rodgers also, like, I understand none of us seriously entertained the thought, but the fact that he was even back on the practice field at the end of last season is a gross outlier in terms of physical recovery. Now,
For that age, too.
Oh, for that age, like, everything around it. Like, we all got caught up in the other conversations around Aaron Rodgers, I think, discussing a lot of that. Him constantly saying he was going to be back in a way that just wasn't realistic. But it should not obscure the fact that him being back on the practice field, us talking about him taking a roster spot at the end of last year, is the 1% of the 1% in terms of recovery from that injury at that age.
Do you think they win the division?
I don't know. I mean, that division is real. There are 3 really good teams.
Yeah, offensive Bills are really good. I do love that, Trey. You're agreeing that it's a very talented team, but the guy that you are most concerned about is the most talented guy on that team. And I agree with you. Yeah. Like, you have no proof that Aaron Rodgers, who is 3 years removed from an MVP season and is playing for a team that is haunted, okay?
They're haunted.
New York
That's a
Jets.
great way of putting it. They are haunted.
Jets are haunted.
The Jets are haunted.
100%. The Jets and the moon landing that may or may not have actually happened. The moon's haunted.
I mean, I went to a dark retreat and took some ayahuasca before I came up with this. So,
Trey, actually, you know what? If we were going to do a top 5 list of people in sports media that would try ayahuasca, you'd be on the list.
You would be on the list. For sure.
I mean, you're right next to the other guy.
We'd both be in the top 5.
2 of the 4.
1 and 1A right here.
Exactly.
One and
I don't know if he's done ayahuasca, but he's definitely a man who I wouldn't want to get in front of. Derrick Henry going to join us next to talk about the game tonight. I don't know what that tease was next.
It was good.
Welcome back to GoJo and Golic. Ahead of the start of tonight's NFL season, the fellas had a chance to catch up with Ravens' new running back, Derrick Henry. Take a listen to this.
All right, awesome here to be joined by one of the best running backs in professional football. Derrick Henry, kind enough to join us here on behalf of Pepsi, which we want to hear all about. But before we got on air, we were just here reliving the glory days. The last time I saw Derrick Henry in person was Heisman Trophy night when he was getting the award and as one of the best players in college football. So, Derrick, it's nice to see that things have worked out well for you. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank y'all for having me. And yeah, just been very blessed and fortunate, but heck, excited to be on the show today.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate the time. I guess first and foremost, how does I played for 3 teams in my career, so changed uniforms a couple times. You just changed it this one time here. How odd was that to put on a different uniform when you first went to Baltimore?
Yeah, it was definitely different, but at the same time, I was kind of embracing it. It was kind of time for something like that to happen, and change can always be good. But it was a little adjustment. I was excited for this new chapter and for this new era to begin for sure.
I saw the heartwarming video, Jeffrey Simmons, the first time he was running out of the tunnel in Tennessee without you as the guy next to him. Have you had to talk him through this next step here? Is the big guy taking it hard?
No, not at all. When I saw that video, I was like, dang, I miss my guy, man. I miss, coming out the tunnel. We always came out, like, kind of last ones come out the locker room right before we went out for pregame. So kind of brought back memories. And, I definitely miss my guy, Jeffrey, for sure.
Now you're looking to make new memories in Baltimore. And what's the early returns on the offense been like when you actually have somebody at quarterback who almost is as good a running back as you are?
Yeah, it's been cool. It's been fun. We know the dynamic player he is, but his arm strength, his accuracy, the leader he is, man, I'm excited to be his teammate and definitely excited to go out there on game days and go get some wins.
He's a quarterback with a well-worn reputation. You're a running back with a well-worn reputation, but they were a new offense last year with Todd Monken coming in as the coordinator, now a guy that you're working with as well. So when you came in here, what did he tell you about the vision they had for you in this offense and how they wanted to use you?
Yeah, not really no vision. It didn't really, come to me like, this is how we want to use you, but just come in and get to know the system, learn the system, get some reps in it, get used to it, and then get acclimated on, as far as my game and their style of play with the offense, and then let it all come together. Been working since OTAs, and then it's got through with training camp. So, like I said to the media, I think last week, I feel right at home. I'm comfortable, and I'm excited to get this thing rolling.
You seem to be and are going to defy the 30-year-old running back syndrome. I mean, last year you almost had 1,200 yards. You led the league in carries 4 of the last 5 seasons. So your durability is unquestioned. But is there a part of you that would like to, limit's the wrong word because you want to do what the offense is going to do, but maybe start to be conscious of the number of carries?
Yeah, I think, you look at it and, like, as far as a running back in this league, with that stat, kind of makes you cringe a little bit. You're like, oh. But my body feels fine. I feel fine. I think the biggest thing out of that is just with that amount of carries, having the production be higher than the amount of touches and having that efficiency and that matching together. But I take care of my body to make sure that I'm available and be able to play at a high level consistently, but definitely excited to be in this offense and see how the production goes as far as with the opportunities I get, whether it's carries or anything like that. Those 4 out of 5 last years, yes. Yeah.
I was going to say, as big as you are, and we always think about, we see the big hits that you level on guys, but that's still a lot of pounding. You mentioned how you take care of your body there. What has been the secret to your longevity? Like, when did you settle in on the things that would allow you to be this productive, whether it's how you take care of your off season, your camp, or what have you?
Yeah, I think, through your experience throughout the league, when you're a young guy, you just talk to the vets who've done it for a long time and kind of be a sponge to, the information that they provide to you. And then as the older you get, you build on a routine and see what works for you as far as taking care of your body and your recovery routine, just so you're ready week in and week out. And that's what I've tried to do. And the older I've got, diet is very important to making your body feel the best it can, especially during the season. So I changed my diet up a little bit in 2022 and do a lot of recovery stuff, get IVs, and drink plenty of water. So I try to do it all just so I'm available and get those carries that I've been getting these last couple of years, just so my body feels good when it's that time.
So my son Mike was a former O lineman. I was a former D lineman. So we didn't care what we ate, and we ate.
I was like that too for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so what? How has that changed? What kind of diet are you on now?
Yeah, so I do like gluten-free, no gluten, no fried foods, no dairy, no artificial sugars. Drink water for the most part.
It's a huge part of it, no doubt. And it showed up on the field. I think the one place in particular it shows up that everyone always focuses on with you is the stiff arm. Over the years, you've had some incredible posters with that move in particular. So I'm wondering, what's the secret to the great stiff arm? Like, you mentioned a vet. Was there a vet you watched that did it? Is it something that's always come natural? How's that come and become such a hallmark of your game?
Yeah, it's something that's always came natural, especially since I've been playing Pop Warner football. I was always tall and lanky and had long arms. So anytime somebody come and tackle me, I'll always just use a stiff arm. And that's something I've always done since I was a kid. And it became more effective. The older I got and, playing in high school, college, and in pro, I just used it more effective and put more into it once, I got to the league. So.
Yeah, I'd say when the defender's body is parallel to the ground, you have put the appropriate amount of oomph into that.
Yeah, you're making defenders have to make quality business decisions when approaching
I try to, at least.
I can say, have you ever had a defender come up to you before a game, like late in the season or something? Maybe they're out of the playoff and be like, "Hey, listen, man, like I see you in the open field. Let's get through this and get everyone out of here in one piece."
No, not really on game day, but started camp. We started to put pads on. A lot of the guys on defense are like, "Hey, man, you ain't finna be trying to stiff arm and do nothing crazy out there at practice." I'm like, "No, I don't do that to my teammates or anything like at practice, only on game days." But yeah, that was a big discussion. Right before we started to put the pads on in training camp, they thought I was gonna be going crazy. I was like, "No, man, I don't do nothing like that to my teammates."
saves that stuff for when the real lights come on in the game and the jersey color on the other side looks a little bit different. All right, so no friendly fire with Derrick Henry here, but Derrick, we know you are here speaking of friendly, on behalf of Pepsi with a great campaign you guys got going on. So what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, Pepsi has a great campaign going on, Make Your Game Day Epic, with the Gladiator theme, the Legend Gladiator movie theme that I was a part of and was proudly and appreciative to be a part of that campaign. Is to kick out the 2024 NFL season. Excited to be a part of this campaign. I feel like it was legendary. Everybody has seen Gladiator, the movie, and the impact that it had. And with Gladiator 2 coming out, that's going to be legendary as well. I can't wait to see that. But yeah, got my first opportunity to visit Canada to shoot a commercial. Can't wait for everybody to see it. I know all the fans are going to be excited. It's going to be a great campaign, a great commercial to start off the 2024 season. And me, Josh Allen, Justin Jefferson, Travis Kelce, and Meg Thee Stallion with the We Will Rock You remix song. So it's going to be a great turnout. And I was glad and thankful that Pepsi chose me to be a part of it.
Oh, great movie and great product. You're right. Everybody's seen Gladiator. That is going to be epic.
It's going to be cool.
I mean, it's a great movie. It's a great product. You mentioned some of the guys that are your peers right now. Little starstruck meeting Meg Thee Stallion. How did that go?
But that was fun. Me and Josh, we were joking all the time. Josh, that's my guy. So yeah, I had a good time, especially shooting a commercial with her, and then being around Josh and Justin and Travis. So it turned out great. I had a good time, man. Definitely something that I always remember.
Awesome, man. Well, we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to the start of the season for you in the new home in Baltimore, man. Best of luck, and hopefully we'll get to visit with you again down the road, all right?
I appreciate y'all. Take care.
All right, guys, time to finish off the show the way we always do. This, that, and the third. 3 quick stories to send everybody into the rest of their day. Make sure you download, subscribe, rate, and review the show. Leave us a 5-star rating. Check us out live Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 a.m. Eastern on the DraftKings Network, our YouTube channel, Samsung TV Plus, Roku, Xumo Play, all those fun places. The DraftKings Network, by the way, the same place that you're going to be able to see the pregame power-up Mondays and Thursdays, starring our friend TREY WINGO, who's still hanging out with us here right now. Make sure to check that out as well. If you miss any of our great guests live, by the way, here, there you go. This Trey, he's dressed up as a little official.
Well, the whole point of that was I'm officially joining.
Oh,
We
yeah.
tried to figure that out.
Okay.
That's how that all.
Yeah.
right.
Even though, like, technically, like, the chain gang, you're not really an official.
No, that's see, now we're getting into the minutia. Yes.
There we go.
Wow,
See,
we're diving into
the levels to this here.
Wow.
I read into the situation too much. TREY WINGO joined us. You can check him out there. Our thanks to Josh Allen and Derrick Henry, as well as Stugotz and the Dan Lebitard show that joined us. If you missed any of them on the show, make sure you check us out wherever you get our podcast or right here on YouTube as soon as we get done. Guys, let's start off with this. Dancing with the Stars, still a thing, and the new lineup announced here. Now, Trey, this didn't mean as much to me, but you immediately oohed and ahed at this right away. Me and Dad had no idea.
No idea.
Anna Delvey.
Yeah.
The inspiration for the show, Inventing Anna, a full-blown con artist, now going to be on the show.
Well, and then what made it great on Netflix, Inventing Anna, the woman who plays Anna Delvey is Ruth from Ozark.
Oh.
Who had that great, I don't know S about F.
I loved her in Ozark.
I know it's a loose network, but I'm not sure what I can and can't say.
I don't know if it's quite FCC, but we're probably shouldn't say F on this.
And guys,
she really sold the part. But yeah, Anna Delvey was this con artist.
And she's going to have to wear an ankle monitor while she competes.
The floor is yours.
Which is amazing.
No way.
Okay, see, no, that's like a weighted, like that should be going. That's a great point.
It has to be prominently featured, though, right? Like you've got to lean into it.
You have to lean into it.
I went to the beach once in Los
Jailhouse Rock's got to be something that they do.
Oh, that's a good one.
Come on, right?
Songs that connote jail time. All right, we'll get Stugotz back up here for that one. But
he peaked at my camp.
Oh my God! All right, I'm very excited for that now, just to see the ankle monitor.
Yeah.
Seeing an ankle monitor in places that you don't expect is always fascinating. I saw someone at the beach in Los Angeles going down to take pictures by the water in a bikini with an ankle monitor on.
Living her best life.
If you get the sand in between the ankle monitor and your skin, it's got to be a little rough.
Well, maybe she's using the natural grit to try and loosen the thing and make her escape, right?
So I didn't know Delvey, but others in Dancing with the Stars that's really gone through a high and a low period is Alona Maher, the rugby player from the Olympics.
Viral TikTok
just
sensation.
incredibly
She's
popular.
been crushing it. I think she just did the swimsuit issue,
Yes,
too.
she did. And the other one who's been unbelievably popular is the American men's gymnast from the pommel horse, Steven Edorosik, is going to be on it.
Pommel horse. I feel like that's one of those moments where he's going to go out there and remind people that to be on the Olympic men's gymnastics team, you got to be great at one thing, but he probably still moves better than most.
Oh, yeah.
It's like when Tim Legler used to talk about, I had to be a three-point specialist in the NBA. Correct. To get there, my game is so much better than the rest of the population. So,
And then they have the older competitors, Tori Spelling and Eric Roberts.
Yeah. Wow. Eric. I think the last thing I saw Eric in was in Entourage.
Yeah.
Right. My God. When they went up and did shrooms and.
Tree tripping, Joshua Tree.
In Joshua Tree.
Yeah. Great times. Miss Entourage. The official rite of passage for every college boy in America. Yeah. Jesse, let's get to that and get away from this. Shocking news in the world of social media yesterday. A longtime denier finally joins the rest of us in the heap.
Yeah, check this out. We have a newcomer to what he previously called InstaFace. Yeah, so we got Bill here. He talks about how he has officially joined Instagram. And you guys, he follows one woman on Instagram. And guess who? It's his girlfriend.
Oh.
Yep, big girlfriend guy, I guess.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, we can trace the through line to how this happened to one person.
Without a doubt. I mean, having his young girlfriend, he does not do this InstaFace at all.
He's become a media sort of superstar. It is funny, right? And Saban's the same way.
Yes.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I hate all you guys. It's rat poison. I'm not a coaching. Hey, let me do this.
I love it.
Let me do this.
But
it's amazing how it happens.
But still, I don't think either one of them is into the social media world. I think Bill's girlfriend really helps him here.
Well, Teddy Bruschi used to tell this great story about when all this stuff was first going on in the 2000s, and Bill hated it. He said, "Any you guys get on MyFace or Spacebook, conduct detrimental."
Incredible.
And now
I would hope Teddy at some point sent Bill the text when he saw this and said conduct detrimental.
Absolutely.
That seems like the callback necessary. I just need him, and I know my dad is always disgusted and perplexed by TikTok dances being a thing that exists. God. I need Bill Belichick doing those. And honestly, at this point, he's already on it. So clearly, if she says jump, he's going to say how high.
Absolutely.
If he ends up on TikTok.
I need it.
Oh, my God.
Bellatalk.
See?
Bellatalk. Right? But you're right about him and Saban and even athletes who just spurned the media during their years and then all of a sudden are sitting at a desk.
Let me talk to you.
Now talking about.
The coaches are the worst because they spew it and they hate it. And as soon as they get that chance, as Nick Saban said, well, you better spend that $20 million on the right effing players.
Yeah.
What I mean?
What would
fire and takes out there.
What would Bill do on TikTok?
Whatever his young girlfriend
whatever she
tells
says
him to
to
do.
do.
This is what's cool. This is the Solomon, Missouri Twitter thread, which I know means nothing to you guys.
What?
But hopefully something to someone listening out there. It's a reminder. You don't want to be out here. It's a new world that Bill Belichick is learning about dating this young woman.
Correct.
And it is going to be a world full of things he never before comprehended and thought were possible.
Isn't TikTok like you have to do it multiple times a day to be relevant?
Well, but all those people are doing it to make money.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to make
That's
money,
true.
like
Bill
those two teenagers from Connecticut are like, that started basically the first.
The Cavender twins.
The Cavender twins, right, that became.
Yeah, they dance for 10 seconds and people throw money at them. I don't understand.
I don't think Bill needs the money.
No, that is true.
But you know what? It's when
That
you
is
don't
true.
need the money when it can work out. See, the Kelsey brothers starting a podcast. They didn't need an extra $100 million,
Yep.
and now they have it because sometimes that's the most freeing way to do this. Jesse, let's get to the third. Speaking of things that might only mean something to me and you, we had an excellent first pitch yesterday.
Yeah, Ludacris went all out for his first pitch for the Braves. Those are not his real arms, okay? We have video of this. He's wearing insanely big arms, and he first wore those for his 2004 hit song Get Back for the music video, okay? He also had these massive white Air Force Ones on, which he wore in the video for Stand Up. So honestly, just bringing all the things together that we love about growing up and in the 2000s, the songs of our youth, and now Ludacris went out there and just performed for us. You love to see it.
Luda.
By the way, did you see him talking about drinking glacial water for the first time on his Instagram?
Was he pushing product?
No, he was on a glacier in Alaska. He was playing in Alaska, and he said, "I've never tasted pure glacial water before." So he put his little whatever Stanley Yeti, whatever it was, in the water, and it was like, "This is the greatest water I've ever."
Oh, so he's pushing to sell it.
Well, I don't know the answer to that. He was just saying, "I'm a water snob." Did you see it? Did you see it?
I saw it, yeah. He dunked the bottle right in, and then he was drinking it.
Yeah.
And then everybody was saying maybe the massive arms
in the
were
glacier
from
water. Yeah,
drinking the glacial water. That's what will happen.
From that.
Yeah.
See, got it.
Can I just say, maybe we leave the glaciers alone. I feel like we've done enough to the glaciers at this point to ruin their trajectory and likely the planets. Maybe we just let the glaciers go without taking more from them, Ludacris. That being said, I don't want to get too far off the subject here. He threw a great pitch.
It didn't bounce. You know what they say, and I've done a number of first pitches.
He dropped the bottom out of that thing.
And I bounced him. You're going to get booed. His did not bounce. Throwing it with a Velcro on the big hand.
It was sort of stuck, like he just shoved it.
I agree, Mike. He made it all the way to the plate.
That was a great pitch with that. Doing Atlanta proud and making me feel nostalgic towards a time where you couldn't turn on the radio without hearing a Ludacris feature on every song. And they were always bangers. So congratulations to Luda, still at the top of his game as his hands go from the bottom to the top of your frame. If you enjoyed the frames of this show, make sure you download, subscribe, rate, review us, leave us a 5-star rating. Check us out live Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Eastern, and today live from 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern as we kick it off in Kansas City with the rest of the DraftKings Network crew.